Good morning, folks. We're going to go ahead and start the seminar today. We'll pick up a few people as we go in honor of everybody's time and to keep us on schedule. This morning, this is part 2 of our Better Business Bureau course on small business security, cybersecurity. Alex Brewer from AARP is going to be our speaker this morning. I introduced him before part 1, but I'll go ahead and just go through it quickly again. He grew up in Smithfield. He graduated from Parker High School. He's a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. His extensive background in cybersecurity spans 3 decades, and especially at skills on the dark web, cybersecurity operations, risk and compliance and governance. He's also a community activist and a diehard volunteer for several organizations. And Alex is a wealth of information on this subject. So Dave Morrow, who spoke on Tuesday, is also with us to answer any questions. He has extensive experience, over 40 years in cybersecurity. So with that, Alex, we'll turn it over to you and let you go ahead. I do want to let people know, if you'll put your questions in the chat, we will get those with Alex. He'll be able to see those, and we'll get those answered for you. And mute yourself, as most people do in these, and we'll go from there. Alex, you're up.
Thank you, Carl. Good morning, everyone. So as Carl said, this is day 2 of our Better Business Bureau security course. Today, we're going to be covering a few ranges of topics dealing with the network security, Wi-Fi security, cyber hygiene, and just some basic do's and don'ts and how to keep yourself and your business safe from cyber attacks or espionage or just cyber criminal activity in general. So first, we're going to talk about network security. As far as network security, that could be anything from your hardwired connections to Wi-Fi, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this whole Wi-Fi security. So for Wi-Fi security, you want to ensure that you have a strong router password or a passphrase. And what that means is, you see these limits now to where you can have a minimum of 8 characters, uppercase, lowercase, special character. And a passphrase is something that you can create. My dog likes bones, and substitute, the S's for dollar signs, the I's for exclamation marks, but something that's unique to you that you would know when you go entering your password. Now, the stronger and longer the password, the more secure. And the reason why for that is there's dictionary attacks. And dictionary attacks are when cyber criminals take common words in a dictionary, compile it into a script, which is a programming language that runs automatically, and it'll run against the passwords that you might be using. So if you use the word password in any derivative, capital P, lower p, the @ sign for the A, even though it's the word password, they will plug in those special characters just as a test to see if they're able to get in. And believe it or not, a lot of password attacks are successful because people do not incorporate strong passwords or passphrases. Now, when it comes to your Wi-Fi, it is your SSID is your unique name that you give your wireless network. So what you want to do is you want to limit broadcasting that. So some companies, I can call a name here, Starbucks or some of the other companies who they have guest Wi-Fi. So if you're in that business, whether it's a bakery, auto body shop or mechanic shop or coffee shop, and you want to offer that type of service to your customers or your clients, one good thing that you could do is to set up a separate network. So on your router, you have multiple ports, and you can get an additional Wi-Fi router and give it a separate name and allow your guests to connect on that. And if that's something that you're able to do, or you can contract or hire a network person to come in and set that up for you, you might want to try to keep it on a separate IP address. And the reason for that is if you're on the same IP range, they have what's called sniffing. And sniffing is a term, if you can imagine a dog walking around out on the ground, they're always sniffing, right? They're looking for something, something has their attention. So sniffing for a network is someone can put a tool in and sniff the data that's going in and out of your network. And as they sniff that, they could grab and capture your data, parse it out, and look for terms, passwords, and other things that might be transmitted while you're on the network. So, but putting them on a separate network and a different IP range, that will be more difficult for them to do. So you can offer that service to them, but at the same time, separate your business from your clients and offer them a separate network to surf and do things on to where it doesn't collide or interfere with your business network, and they're not able to see some of that same traffic that you're doing your day-to-day transactions on. And internet security refers to the security designed to protect systems and the activities of employees and others while connected to the internet, the web browsers, apps, websites, and the network. So again, even using your day-to-day apps or apps you like to use that you can download, again, all of that traffic is sniffable, and it can be detected by malicious actors on your network. So, keeping up with network security, we're going to talk about a couple of tools that you can implement that are pretty reasonably priced, but it can offer a wealth of protection for your business. So, a firewall. So, most wireless routers have firewalls built in, or you can buy an additional firewall for additional protection. And what a firewall is firewall is a network security device designed to monitor, filter, and control the incoming and outgoing network traffic based on the predetermined security rules. So you're able to configure, it's just like now with web browsers, how you can do the parental controls. You can configure your firewall to allow and disallow certain type of traffic in and out of your business. And a lot of things I'm saying here as well can be used for your home network. So given the day and age now of remote work, your home office is your work, right? So if your home is your office, these same tools can apply for you for your home network. So in installing a firewall, it's basically, as it says, it is a wall that is put up between you, your business, and the outside world. And we're going to use some terms here where you can punch a hole in your firewall. It's basically saying you can say, I want to block all my traffic, but I only want to allow this traffic to go out on this particular port, which could be your internet port or your remote desktop port. So that's punching a hole, but you're not opening up the whole network to everyone. You're just saying, I'm only going to allow certain segments of traffic to come in and out. And that is a basic rule. Deny everything and allow only what you need. Okay. So it's a blanket deny and only allow what traffic that you really need to go in and out of your network. And that will probably be the best security tip that you can get for a firewall. And also, there's also what's called a virtual private network, a VPN. So you probably, if you're up late at night, sometimes like I am, you'll see the VPN commercials, NordVPN, or some of the other more popular ones, and you see where they'll be blocking different things from coming in, different attacks. So what a virtual private network is, it is a network that extends a single private network across a public network like the internet, appearing to users as a private network. So basic terms, it is basically creating a tube or a tunnel for you to get out of your network. So anything that's not associated with that VPN is not accessible. It is a private way to connect to the internet. And what it does is it is an encrypted passage for your traffic. So as I was saying before, someone can sniff your network. if they're on the same IP address. But if you're using a VPN that isolates you from everybody else and everything else, and it's encrypted, every last bit of traffic that is going out is encrypted. Unless you know that encryption key, you would not be able to get access to any of that data. So installing a firewall coupled with a VPN is what's called layered security, right? So you're doing things in layers, and it's adding extra protection at different layers of the network. So that's one thing that you can look at, is saying, you have a cake, it has layers. And if you're trying to get to that center of that cake or the center of something, you go through layers. If you want to get to my desktop as a hacker, you got to get through my VPN, through my firewall to get to me. And the stronger all of that is, and include my password. So there's multiple layers of defense that you're putting up to protect yourself from cyber criminals. So as far as operational security, now, operational security on the business side, you have several things. Security policies is huge. A lot of small businesses do not have security policies, and security policies are policy that provides guidance to an organization, its employees, on how to act to protect the company's sensitive information. So let's look at trade secrets. Trademarks. Coca-Cola's secret sauce for their Coke product, right? So that right there is, you can create a security policy on. You write the policy to say that um, these ingredients will be kept at this location and only allowed by XYZ during XYZ time frame or whatever. So that policy basically dictates who has access, when they can have access to it, and how to treat and protect that data. And that is the guideline that everyone who has access to that data should use. So there's no breaking this policy, okay? So it gives that minimum access to that sensitive data. You only might want to have 3 people to access payroll. So when you have that security policy, you incorporate those 3 individuals in that policy and how they are the only ones allowed to do that. Now, updating devices and applications regularly. We all get the Windows updates, right? In the middle of doing something, it might say Windows is updating your system, is going to reboot. But some people like to um, postpone and not do security updates. Well, in doing that, what happens is those updates is when Windows or any vendor, whether it's your antivirus protection, McAfee or Norton or whoever, those security updates is when those vendors have found a flaw or a vulnerability in their application, and they're saying, we're offering you a free fix for this. So it is best common practice to provide those updates, because they provide essential security measures for your system. Just as you get that notice, the cyber criminals are also seeing, hey, there's a Windows update. Um, it exploits the Edge browser. Okay, we'll use that for an example. They will test that to see how to break the Edge browser to get into your machine. And again, they can run a script against any small business or large business to see that you plug your Edge browser. And if you didn't, that allows them access to your machine to install malware, ransomware, or to just go ahead and steal the data right away. So, updating your devices, whether it's your computer, your tablet, your cell phone, those are the things that are essential to adding that extra layer of protection. When the vendor tells you, we have found a flaw in our application, in our software, here's a free fix. Sometimes those fixes might break things. It might cause a little bit of a headache in doing the update, but essentially it is there to protect you, your data, and eventually your business from any type of cyber attack or cyber activity from criminals. Remember which vendor has access to your data. So when you're dealing with third-party vendors or even fourth-party vendors, these are people who you have contracts with. So it could be someone like Dropbox, where you might be storing data in the cloud. So what is that agreement between you and that vendor as to how you get access and how do they access your data if they need to? A lot of small businesses now have third-party HR companies, so they don't have their own HR personnel. So they are basically contracting to an HR company. Well, that HR company has access to your data, right? Those applications, job applications, it could be payroll. So that's a lot of private information that is shared between you and that vendor. So you want to be able to have those checks and balances to say, hey, how do you handle my data? You know, do you sell or share data with another vendor? And those are things that you get in either an MOU or memorandum of understanding or in a hard contract to say, we don't want our data shared, or there's very limited data that you can share from my company. And you have every right to do that and request that. So that is essential when you're having vendors, third parties as part of your workflow that has access to your personal, private, and confidential data. So next, training employees, keeping employees sharp and trained. So um, cybersecurity, day-to-day work, it's a constant business, right? It's forever changing. Cyber criminals are getting smarter every day, and it feels like we're always behind the eight ball. They're one or two steps ahead of us. We're always reactionary versus proactive when it comes to cyber attacks, right? You can put all these measures in place, but again, they're exploiting some of this technology and applications prior to it being found. So having skilled, trained employees, again, it's essential. You want to have people that know how to defend an attack if you are experiencing one, who to contact, how to shut down your network, how to do a backup and restore, right? Since ransomware is one of the biggest attacks that is happening now. Your computer gets encrypted by the criminals. If you don't have a good backup, do you pay the ransom or do you start from scratch, use all that data, right? So you want to be able to have trained professionals to say, hey, we saw a probe of an attack. We think it was an attack. We shut the network down, or you move your data to another location, or you have offsite storage, cloud storage that is encrypted in rest while it's on in the cloud and it's encrypted in transit. So again, if you have that ransomware attack, it's hard for them to really intrude and get that data. So cyber hygiene. What does cyber hygiene mean? So the word hygiene, again, just like yourself, you want to keep your data safe and clean. You want to keep it pristine because you might have to do a recall of that data from a backup, right? So strong password policies. Use pass phrases, complex passwords that you can remember, and do not use the same password. Okay, so there's this thing called password vaults, password storage, online passwords where it stores all your passwords. Now you only need one password access to your other passwords. No more sticky notes under the laptop, under the keyboard, or anything like that. So password vaults are good. They're good to use. You just have one password to remember to get to your other password. But remember, if they're stored on a computer, unless you have a strong password securing that password vault, it is still susceptible to if a cyber criminal get access to your computer, they will try to exploit that and hack that and get your other passwords. And again, cyber criminals, um, when it comes to dealing with how and why they target businesses and individuals, it's because we are people of habit and we like to do the same thing due to ease and comfort. So we do use a lot of the same passwords. So, and I instruct some people sometimes to have a separate machine. If you're doing payroll and finances, have that on one computer and use another computer to search the internet. Okay, so you have one for payroll, you do your business on, all your financials are on, connect, use that one. A second computer, if you're going to be getting on the internet, doing your LinkedIn, visiting Facebook, stuff like that, use a separate computer. Okay. That way you limit that risk in having your financial machine with all your financial records on it compromised. They'll get the machine of least value if you have a separate machine. Safe browsing, email and texting policies. Be aware of browser cookies and cache cleaning. So cleaning out your cache. Okay, what's a cache? Cache is whenever you visit a website, some portions of that website is held in cache for quick reload. So when you hit that back button, that's pulling it out of cache. And what that does, it gives you that faster response and load time for your web browser. So you always want to enable and have safe, secure browsing. Okay. You want to do when you visit a website, look for the lock upper left hand corner saying that it is a site, right? It's a safe site. Cyber criminals are getting smart. You're learning how to put that lock in that left hand corner to mimic a true, just give an example, Amazon site. It might look real, might have that little lock up there, but it still can be a fake site. So knowing and clicking things that you know are legit. So instead of clicking links in emails or text messages from people you're not aware of, physically type in that URL in that browser to make sure you're getting to the right site. Keep systems updated. Again, we talked about updating the machine. Windows is notorious. They have their patch day. They come out once a month. If anything comes out before that, it's critical. Make sure you do the updates for your critical apps, whether it's Quicken, QuickBooks, Tax Pro. They all come out with updates, and you want to do those again to protect yourself, your finances, and your business. Um, Protecting your sensitive data. Back up your data, invest in cloud storage or a managed service provider. So, can't speak enough on this. Uh, Backing up your data to me is as important as just typing the data itself, right? You see it on your screen. You want to be able to say, whatever you do today, dealing with your company or even your personal finances or whatever, you have a safe copy of it somewhere else. Because what can happen, you get a virus on your computer, malware, it gets into your system gets corrupt. Now you have a 17 or a 15 and a half inch paperweight. It's no good to you. You can't get access to the data. And I have seen people literally, have bad days because they can't get to their data. So you want to be able to have a way to say, I'm backing up my data once a week, every other week, once a month. The more frequent you do it, the safer you can be in the event you're a victim of one, your computer crashing on its own due to old age or whatever, or a cyber criminal drops something on your machine and it's frozen. It's become a part of a ransomware attack, and you're not able to get to your data. You have a significant choice, at that point, as far as paying the ransom. And again, with major companies, they pay the ransom, but at the same time, prior to the encryption of your hard drive by the criminals, they've already stolen the data. So even though you do pay the ransom, there's a very good chance your data has been taken away from the system. But at least you can say, I would not lose any more downtime because every day, every minute, every hour that you're out of business, you're losing revenue. So a good backup can get you back up into a functional role and you're not losing money, every minute, every hour, every day, because you're back to a good state as far as operational for your business. Other issues when you're dealing with your company or your personal finances or whatever is credit card security. So you don't share your account information. You want to stay secure online. Watch out for phishing and report fraud ASAP. So let's do that first one. Like, don't share account information. Okay, if you're married, no, joint account, wife, and everything, yes. but no one else should have access to your account. That's not something you put publicly. But again, make sure you have a copy of your information. And I'm not a big paper person, but again, thumb drive, cloud storage, and you can say, okay, here's access to my cloud storage. I don't have to say what's in there, but you always want to have that located somewhere so it's easy to get access to. Staying safe online, again, we've talked about that, updating your web browsers, keeping everything safe, going to locked sites, and beware of phishing. So, phishing attempts are basically when you get emails that look legit, wanting you to click on a link or visit a site where when you click that link or visit that site, it will attempt to install malicious software onto your computer. And once that is done, it doesn't have to activate right away, right? They have what's called droppers. Droppers can live on your computer for days, weeks, months. It's just depending on who programmed it and when they want to or when they can activate it remotely. So, and one way to prevent a remote access to your dropper again deals with that firewall and doing that blanket block of everything and say block remote access. So even if they put a dropper in, if you're blocking remote desktop procedures in your firewall, then when they try to connect to activate that dropper, they can't. It's blocked. So you're safe. You still have a piece of malware that's not activated, and hopefully you have good virus protection, you have it updated, detects it, and you're able to get rid of it. Okay. And if you are a victim of fraud, again, report it ASAP. IC3, the Internet Crime Complaint Center for the FBI. You go out, fill out that online submission, and you get it reported. AARP has a fraud watch network. You can report it through that. Local law enforcement, whatever means you have available to report fraud, please do that as soon as possible. Manage your accounts carefully, set secure password, and monitor your transaction history. Again, uh, you're doing day-to-day transactions, right? If you have a retail shop or whatever, you want to be able to sit down, at the end of the day, reconcile what is every day, every other day, and make sure everything's correct. So you want to be able to have that sense of security that as you go online to check your statements against your Quicken account or whatever that you're doing it safely. So again, all those measures I talked about before is where all this comes to play. When you manage your accounts, most of the accounts are going to be online, but having those secure password and everything to say when I go log in, it is me. Multi-factor authentication. You can use, and Dave talked about that, is having fingerprint recognition, um, a soft token. The RSA tokens, we've had those in the past. They're still around. You can get a code sent to your cell phone, an email sent to you to verify who you are. Those levels of protection, even though it's extra steps to get to what you want, those levels of protection is just immensely important. So please take advantage of them if you can. To help avoid identity theft, keep your card in private, info private at all times, and sharing it with a verified representative. So, in saying that, as a business, you want to be able to meet the demands of your clients and your customers. Okay. So, as you're doing your transactions, you always have you can tap to scan your card, you can insert it, you can swipe. Skimmers still exist, right? Physical skimmers still exist. You want to be able to offer your customers, your clients, a comfortable and secure way to do transactions with you. As you do business with your vendors, as you buy your supplies, as you buy your services that you might get from other people, you want to be able to have that secure transaction, secure interaction with your vendors and your suppliers. And that's that trust between each other. You should be able to identify your vendor's website. And if you get a phishing attempt, you should be able to look and say, hey, that's not my vendor's URL. I'm not going there. Or that's not someone I'm going to do business with. Let me identify who they are first before I do any business with them. Do the research, do your homework, because again, your livelihood is at stake. You don't want to become a victim of any type of fraud due to negligence on yourself without doing that research. With debit cards, your personal money is on the line for fraudulent transactions. With credit cards, it's a credit card issuer's money. Now, if you never heard that term before, um, you just heard it, right? Any transaction you do with your debit card, that comes straight out of your bank account. So that money is gone immediately. But with a credit card, you're using credit, not real money. So your money is still in the bank. You're on this credit from the credit card issuing company. You're using their money for that transaction. So it's still everything is federally insured, FDIC, NCUA, depending on who you have your card with. But your loss, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, they're going to go after these people just as much as you are to get their funds back. So save that debit card transaction. Instead of spending $1,500 for the goods, you have a credit card, you can use that credit. If you got that $1,500, great. Within 30 days, pay that balance off to the credit card company using their secure site to pay for it. So you're still gonna be out of that 1,500, but the chances of you getting hit by a cyber criminal and wiping out your bank account is less likely to happen on using a credit card. So I'm not telling you to use a credit card for all your transactions, just giving you the breakdown between the two. One, money is gone instantaneously. Two, you're using a credit card, which uses the credit card issuer's money instead of your own. It's all insured. It's just a matter of how you want to do that transaction and what best works for you. Okay. Again, still on other issues. Planning for and responding to an incident. Okay. So having an incident response plan, maintain a contact list of vendors, and know your system. So a cyber incident, again, that could be a ransomware attack. Um, it could be, even a deface. Anything that can draw a negative impact to you, your transactions, and your ability to do your day-to-day business. So an incident response plan, typical of IRP, it basically outlines what happens in the event of, and that anything comes after that ransomware attack. What do I do in the event of a ransomware attack? How do I get back to a sense of normalcy? Restore from backup. Do I contact Mandiant or some other cybersecurity firm to come in and do that investigation? How do I get back to normal as fast as possible and as secure as possible? But that all has to be outlined in an incident response plan, and you can have that plan developed for any facet of your business. It doesn't have to just be for cyber. It can be for a fire. If my building catch on fire, yes, I have the insurance, but how and where do I put everything? Who do I contact? Where's everything located? Incident is an incident, cyber or physical. Still should have a plan on how to move forward in the event it happens. Maintaining a contact list of your vendors is very critical. Vendors have you want to do business with the same people, but sometimes they have a lot of um, drawbacks, right? They do have employee changes. So you want to stay in contact with them. Make sure you have good contacts for your sales reps, um, your account execs, and the people that basically even you might have a contract with Cisco, but you have the same driver. You want to get to know your vendors and know how to contact them, when to contact them in the event you have some type of emergency or an event. Now, your vendors can suffer a cyber attack. So let's say you have a vendor that you do transactions with. You upload files to them. Now, if they have a cyber attack, you have a business to business connection with them. What's the possibility of you have a current established connection to that vendor while they're getting attacked? Can that follow back to your business and you become a victim of that same cyber attack? right? And if so, do you have that contact to that IT person there, or is it just your sales rep? So you want to be able to say, I want to have a full encapsulation of who at my vendor's company I need to know. Do I need to know the IT person? Do I need to know HR person? Do I need to know the business management person? Come up with a list of people within that vendor organization that you can contact so that you can make that phone call in the event something happens. Again, you could suffer a cyber attack with a dedicated connection to your vendor, and that attack can go upstream to them. You won't be able to call their IT person and say, hey, I just suffered a ransomware attack. I'm calling you to let you know we had a connection at that time. Check your system, disconnect. Let's do a disconnect from each other until I get this resolved. That's due diligence. That's something that you should be able to do. Know your system. Again, you should be able to know when you come in day to day, when you get on your computer, how it's behaving. You sit there. I see a lot of times when people say, my mouse was moving by itself. Okay. What does that mean? Right? Are the batteries going bad? Or someone could have access to your computer remotely and your mouse moves, right? It's the small things. So if things look out of place, again, if you got great virus protection, run that virus scan. You should be able to do that daily. End of the day, beginning of the day, whatever. Scan your machines. Make sure they're clean. Then look for the malware and the viruses. Comes back clean, you're good to go. Right? Staying abreast of changes in the world of tech. That is a $1 million statement. All right. Staying abreast of what's going on in the world of tech is a tedious task. It's forever changing, but the more you know, the safer you are. There are data breaches that are happening all the time. Use those as a guide to protect yourself, right? AT&T, data breach. Well, how did they get breached? Do the research, find out how did the hackers get into them. Was it through a web browser? Was it phishing? Use that to strengthen your network. Use that to strengthen your capabilities so that the same thing does not happen to you. Learn from other people's, I hate to say mistakes, use from other people's faults to better your environment. Okay. It's not a bad thing to do. It's a great thing to do. You learn from other people's experiences, right? That's in life as well. Use all of that to enhance your security and join cyber organizations. There's many of them out there. They don't have to be cyber. Join as many organizations as you can to learn from the professionals in that arena. There's several in the state of Alabama that deals with law enforcement, cyber, transportation, whatever field that you're in, whatever work environment you're in. There's some type of user group associated with it. If you're a developer, you have a developer in your company, ensure that they join developer training groups where they exchange ideas on how to do more secure coding. All of that benefits you, whether it's conferences, tech seminars, round tables, just B-sides, anything that can enhance your employees or you in learning new and invaluable tools to protect yourself and your business. It's always a good thing. You can never learn too much on how to protect because, again, the cyber criminals are attending those same conferences. They're out on that dark web, exchanging ideas, exchanging techniques. And again, I just used the term the dark web. Carl mentioned it earlier in my bio. The dark web is a place where cyber criminals live. It's an unindexed portion of the internet. You just can't go there. You need special tools to go there. And the things that are happening there are strictly, well, I'm going to say about 99% criminal activity. And you are really vetted when you go there. But any type of criminal activity that you could think of happens there. And at one point, that was part of my job was to go there. Working for a financial institution, I went there looking for our credit cards that was being sold and debit cards that was being sold and try to not buy them back, but stop the criminals from selling them and draining our customers of their money. So what do you do to protect that is basically have strong passwords, have strong network infrastructure, have a strong team of employees and yourself in knowing how to protect, how to enable security measures and respond in the event something happens to your network, your data, or to your business. And that is it for me today. Questions, anyone?
Alex, this is Carl from the Better Business Bureau. I'll ask the question because I'm interested to know. We're a small company, about 15 to 18 folks. Um, how important is it? A lot of our equipment ages out. It seems like it's
I can
you know
barely
I,
hear you. I can barely hear you, Carl.
there. That should be better.
Yes.
Um, okay. A lot of our equipment seems to age out where we have, because we're a small company, we don't have a lot of IT dollars to do that. So we have laptops that are 5, 6, 8. So we found one the other day that was 12 years old.
Wow.
Is it important? Is there really a life cycle that affects cybersecurity as well as far as the equipment, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or any kind?
Yes. Okay. Great question, Carl. So the question is there a life cycle for computer equipment? The answer is yes. So they have what's called EOL, end of life cycle for devices. So, and what that means is if you have a network router or a laptop, tablet, when it's unable to be updated to the current, I'm going to use an Apple iOS version, right? So version 16.3 is the newest version of the code to protect that device. If it is too old to get the new code, it's probably time to get rid of it because it means that new code will stop some type of exploit from happening to it. If you can't add that extra piece of code to it, then it's a accident waiting to happen. And that goes with laptops, network routers, network switches, any piece of hardware that has code enabled on it, there's an end of life to it. And if you can't update it to the current version and you're 3, 4, 5 versions behind, you have to look at replacing that. And I run into this a lot with companies. It is we don't have the budget set aside for that. And that's where you have, in my job, that risk acceptance, right? Do I want to accept the risk of going on with outdated hardware and become a victim of an attack, or do I find a way to cut costs from something else to upgrade my infrastructure? Security has always been um, a side item in the past because a lot of people think this will never happen to me. We would never get hacked. We would never have a data breach. But once that happens, you're spending probably, uh, uh, you know, triple, 5 times more than the amount you would have spent in upgrading that piece of hardware. You're spending now in disaster recovery, credit reporting, credit monitoring for all your clients and customers. You just went 5 times over that budget cost for a simple incident. So the end of life cycle for devices is there. You can always look up your serial number and model number of your device, see what is the current version of code. And if you're not running it, try to update it. And if they won't take that update, it's probably time to replace it. It's a good question, Carl. Thank you.
I'm assuming, Alex, the same thing is true with the online POS type systems that a lot of us use for events and things where we have the small scanners that we use with our phone or something, that we can, take credit cards and things as well. Is that the same kind of thing that you see as
Yes.
well? Okay,
Yes. So your question is for the point of sale machines, right? So you
right,
have the little right kiosks, your squares that plug into your phone.
right.
Again, that square has code associated with it, but even on the back end, your phone needs to be updated as well because it's going through your phone through your cellular signal. So there's a small bit of a pass through to your device. It's not storing it on your phone, but it's still going through. So both devices need to be up to the current code. So that's a good question again.
one thing to add to what Alex said from the Better Business Bureau perspective is when you run into a cyber attack or you have an incident, we'd also love you to post it and bring it up to us at bbb.org using Scam Tracker, our Scam Tracker site. We track those, and we are also connected to IC3, so they're monitoring our reports as they come in so that we get with the FBI and Secret Service and they see what we see as we're tracking them across the country. And you as a BBB member can see those and see if you've been attacked or had an incident and see if other people are experiencing the same attack and what action was taken. So that's always available to you at bbb.org, and you can look at that online at any time. Louis just put that in the chat, so you can copy that and save that, and you can see the Scam Tracker website that has that information on it. Any other questions from anyone? If not, we thank you for joining us. Alex, thank you. Dave, thank you for part one. We will have these recordings again sent out to you as a link for those of you that attended, and they will be posted on our YouTube page at the Better Business Bureau serving Central and South Alabama. We thank you very much for joining us. Alex, again, thank you, and Dave, and we'll give you back a few minutes of your day again. Thanks very much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.